Now we could drive winds east from the city along Auckland's glorious waterfront. Just beyond Mission Bay, you'll find this little slice of heaven that I call home, Ko'i Marmar. Ko'i, as the locals call it. Ko'i Marmar has a population of around 6,500 people, of which 30%, like myself, was born overseas. I moved here around 17 years ago, following a Kiwi woman. Unfortunately, the relationship didn't last, but my love affair for New Zealand has. And I picked Ko'i to lay down my roots. You know, it's made up of many different cultures that all seem to mingle quite well together. In this episode of Neighborhood, I want to share with you some of the stories that'll show you just how diverse this community is. We'll savor the taste of fresh Thai cuisine.
Make me homesick. My mother used to cook and very nice meal in the kitchen. So I always think about my home when I cook.
Hear the stories behind a treasured Italian heirloom.
And I thought it was a good idea to put a candle behind it. Which I did, and everything went up in flame. And my grandmother was absolutely furious because I ruined her war.
Discover a beauty pageant that celebrates diversity.
So I think the pageant made me more open to exploring my African side. Made me realize that there is a positive African community in New Zealand, where up until then I thought I was just kind of alone.
And feel the rhythm of Brazilian dance.
We feel kind of very special because all the community, the Brazilians, they know already Brazilian divas.
Yeah.
And they really respect our job and they really enjoy as well.
I'm John Palino, and this is my neighborhood. I'm Italian-American, born in New Jersey. You know, my parents, they didn't want me to speak Italian, even though my grandparents only spoke Italian. You know, they were afraid people would make fun of me, and they really wanted me to speak English well. You know, when we're growing up, we don't always celebrate our culture, which makes us stand out differently from the crowd. I grew up immersed in Italian food culture. My dad had an Italian catering hall where I started work at age 13, and my mom was a great cook. I've used a lot of her recipes in my restaurants, especially one called Sal Rose that I used to own. Sal was my dad, Rose was my mom. I named it after them. Even to this day, my favorite dish is my mom's spaghetti and meatballs. That became my signature dish. When I started university, my dad asked me, so what are you going to study? And I said, well, probably hospitality. I want to go in the restaurant business. He said, no, you're not. You're not going into the restaurant business. So I said, okay, I'll study acting. He said, no, you're not. You're going into the restaurant business. So there was ultimately no escaping it. You know, some of my most valued treasures are, you know, my mom's handwritten recipes. I even have a cookbook that was handed down from my grandmother to my mother, and now I have it. My culture has made me what I am today, especially in life and work. I can remember my parents, they were growing up during poor times in America. They used to say to me, you gotta work hard, and I did. It was a part of my genetic makeup. I can't imagine approaching life any other way. Kauai is such a special place. Take a walk along the beach and you'll see such a real mix of nationalities, all really just enjoying what Kauai has to offer. You know, it's so inspirational to see so many people from so many different places united by the sheer joy of such a beautiful place. You know, it's like a village. We don't know each other, but we all feel like we do. Sometimes, you know, I have to pinch myself just to remind myself, this is my neighborhood.